So let's take a look at Teachaway. Teachaway is very American. It's a US-based company. Nice, colorful, eye-catching front page. It's always good. You see that this would be a nice responsive site using on a phone or a tablet. I do mine on a MacBook. And you can see that there's a lot of jobs in the United States as well as international schools. So 2,061 vacancies. I think that's globally, of which 43 are in the UAE. They offer other services, the overseas jobs, online work, which is quite useful now for some. They offer online teaching certification. The certification is what an American needs to be recognized as a teacher. In England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, probably beyond, it's the equivalent to a postgraduate teaching certificate or perhaps a BEd or a similar qualification. These days it can be school-based as well. And they also have quite a significant interest in TEFL. They have a lot of TEFL jobs as well as offering TEFL certification courses. I never take much notice of who the partners are because you don't know in what capacity. In fact, they're in Canada, so do forgive me for saying they are in the United States. And they have offices, 2 in Canada, 1 in the US, and 1 in Scotland. So, by the way, if you're interested in a TEFL course, it does seem that they are offering some discounted courses right now. But we're more interested in teacher jobs. So, you click on jobs, you have the opportunity of a job board. Now, if you click job board, okay, it's a little bit longer to load than some of my sites do. But as I've said previously on other videos, I'm in China. I'm behind a firewall, so it can take a moment or two sometimes. And you can see the countries where they offer jobs and the various regions where they offer and their featured jobs. So I'm sure these are jobs where the schools have paid for them to be featured. And as it loads more, we can see they offer quite a lot of online opportunities as well as their featured jobs for classroom teachers. So here we have the Far East with China and Japan, Kuwait, again China, one in Colombia, but mainly we're talking Middle East and China, which isn't unsurprising. Ghana is an interesting, different one, an American school in Ghana. So you can get the flavor for it, including Moldova. Now if we go over here, job openings is probably what we're more interested in. So we have ESL jobs, and I like this feature that just by hovering over the sidebar, you can see the featured jobs at least. So if you're interested in ESL, the online stuff, TEFL jobs, K-12 teaching jobs, administration jobs, college, and vocational. So I'm going to go to this one, as this is the one I often look at. And you can click and view the jobs. They're the featured ones, so you have to click to see the rest. These guys are a business, so fair play to them. I've tested the water to see how the system works by applying for a couple of jobs, and I have not heard back from Teachaway. Now, the reason I click on these jobs once in a while to check, sometimes I'm interested, and sometimes I'm doing market research. Now, I've applied for a couple of jobs on this website, which I'm more than qualified for, and I don't hear anything. And even if they feel that I'm not suitably qualified for a job in a UA government school, like this one, which I've applied for, many other agencies would still contact the candidate to find out more about them so that they can place them appropriately. And one might think even more so at a time when the job market is comparatively slow. So I have to say, in this respect, I can't say I'm very happy with Teachaway. Okay. So let's have a look at one that maybe, if they did ever reach out to me, I might want to take a second look, or at least for a friend. So you can click on here. It's a job for a general principal with the Pinnacle Group in Shenzhen. And I've applied. Okay, my job details, my information has now gone to Teachaway. Now, whether it goes directly to the school or whether it's held by Teachaway, I don't know. So let's have a look at the vice principal one and click on it now so we get the fuller version of what happens when you click. So there's not a great deal of information. You've got a bit of information about the system, which is a UAE government school. It's located, we've got various jobs throughout the United Arab Emirates. I'm happy to see that there's a potential salary though. Not all websites will tell you that, and it gives you some details of what else to expect as benefits. But one would want far more detail. If you're applying for a vice principal job or a senior leadership job, or probably even a middle leadership job, you want to really kind of hammer out those benefits, because it's the fringe benefits, the level of gratuity and alike, which can make the difference. And whether or not this is tax-free or not, that's going to interest me. So they're looking for directors or principals, licensed teachers. So it's a head of middle school job in effect as vice principal. They'd expect a master's, which I have all of these things. They do give the exact salary in local currency as well. No accommodation provided. To me, that's a red flag. In the international sector, you normally expect that. So accommodation allowance and the salary, that can work out, but what if there's considerable inflation or a change in the housing market? There's a lot of variables. UAE is very different, but when I worked in Malawi, the currency was devalued by 65%. That put quite a significant hit on people's take-home salary. And it took a few months before the board I worked for offset that with a 40% pay increase. So there's quite a considerable pay cut, which was only redressed the following academic year when it was brought back into line. So you need to be careful with the terms and conditions. Even for salary fluctuation, if you're quoted a US dollar salary or another strong currency, it's worth making sure that it's index linked, that if the currency you're being paid in should be devalued or suffer on the financial markets, that you still get the equivalent to the dollar or the pound or the euro that you had originally agreed to. That's probably not the case in the UAE because you're talking about a strong, vibrant economy. But if you're applying somewhere else, not necessarily just in the developing world either, it's something to keep your eye on. Right now, I actually benefit because the Chinese RMB is stronger than the dollar and the pound because of the impacts of coronavirus. And so again, I can click apply on, and I've applied. Okay, and that will be because over here on my dashboard, I've already uploaded my CV and some personal information. And that's a free service. There's no charge here. All the charges will be passed on to the schools who are using Teachaway as their recruitment channel. So what else do we have? If you're interested in the US, interestingly here, you have some information in terms of the blog, testimonies from their teachers who they've placed, some resources, and a forum. Let's have a quick look at the blog. I always find it interesting to see how regularly a site will update it. And we've got to give them credit here because these are regularly updated. This is very, very frequent. But if you don't have a degree or a qualification in education, there are plenty of international schools who will still look at you if you have a TEFL. Now, some of whom probably shouldn't because their fees are quite high and they can afford to employ fully qualified licensed teachers or teachers with PGCEs or the equivalent. But as you know, some employers do cut corners and there's pressure on heads of school and principals to save money. Okay, so it's very clever. Just occasionally I lose my track. So going back to community, let's have a look at the forum. I've got a forum myself on my website. I'm hoping people start to use it a little bit more. But hey, I'm new. It's not quite what I expected. I was expecting some sort of discussion forum. But now we're back to where we were before. It just took me to the home page. So again, did I do something wrong? No, they obviously don't have a forum despite the drop-down box indicating that they would. Now they offer courses as well. So if you want to be certified, you can be certified through Teachaway, through Hawaii. Now, I know people who've done this, some American colleagues I've worked with who have done this program, and they will get their teaching qualification and get certified through Hawaii, which means that they're then certified as an American teacher, and it makes them far more employable in the international sector. And it also means that they can command better salaries. So it's a useful tool if you're an American with a TEFL or you've got teaching experience, you're actually qualified. And you can see they offer PD. Good to see a connection with ECIS, who's an organization I'm a very big fan of. I think Kevin Roof, who's at the helm of that organization, is a fantastic man in the international sector. Child protection is something all schools should prioritize. And cultural responsive teaching, I think that's important now. I think never more so than in the current climate. If you're going to work in an international school, you really need to be culturally sensitive. So some interesting courses offered as part of their program. So overall, I would say I like Teachaway. I think it's a very nice website. It's one of the best interfaces. It's easy to navigate. And there's a lot on it. Not so many jobs at the moment, but of course that's the same with everybody. I like the fact that you've got more programs available with the TEFL and the teacher certification and the courses. That's a real positive. Now the negative for me about Teachaway is that I have tested the water as you've just seen. And I'll update in the comments box if they ever do get back to me. And they may do so just because they see my video and think, oh, gee, we better keep this guy happy. But I'll let you know if they ever get back to me, because this after application service is a very important aspect of the work of a recruitment agency. And it's quite disappointing when agencies don't get back to you in any capacity at all. So before you go, please like my video. If you enjoyed it, learned anything from it, didn't hate it, you could click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. There are increasing numbers of these videos appearing, which I'm hoping are very helpful for people seeking work in the international sector. And as I say, please use the comment box. Let me know your experiences of Teachaway. Have they been positive for you? Did you get a job through them? Do they respond to your applications? I'd love to know, and I'm sure that anyone who visits this broadcast would also want to know other people's experiences.